Okay, so quite a few people have been asking me about swinging the mace, how to do it, what's going on. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to properly execute the 360 swing, which is a basic fundamental swing and movement in this practice. But the good thing is you don't even need a steel mace or a homemade gata if you're into that too. All you do need is a sledgehammer. Okay? Because it's the same movement the sledgehammer will teach you just as well. And they're easier, typically, a little easier to come by. You can run by your hardware store if you don't have one lying around your house somewhere. And I learned the 360 swing and the 10 and 2, the basic swings, with a 6-pound sledgehammer almost a full year ago for myself. So I suggest starting light because it's not about going heavy, especially at first when you're just learning the movement and the technique of how to swing these tools and these implements of strength and higher consciousness. So if you are interested, grab your hammer and let's do it. I'm going to try to make this brief, but some things, some good things do take time, and the details here are important. So, our basic position, which we call the order position, is right here where you have your mace. Also, I'm going to basically refer to this thing as a mace, although it is a sledgehammer. There's technical differences, but here we are. It's a mace practice, learning the 360 swing. So order position, where you want to start with your dominant hand on top, okay? And I am a righty, so I'm going right hand on top. I'm mirroring here in this video, and you have your forearms pretty much parallel to the ground to start. Basic position. You keep your elbows in tight, and there are, in my understanding of learning this, there are 4 really important parts of the 360 swing. And the first most important part is to keep your feet planted and your toes forward, not letting your heels shift around or your toes move around. So you want to keep your toes forward and your feet on the ground, and your body is going to move and shift around and turn. You bend your legs, you bend at your knees, and basically your full body is going to be moving, but you want to keep your feet rooted. Okay, so how we're going to learn the 360, the first part is going to be, it's called a kinetic swing, and your mace is going to touch your body for most of the movement. So here you can let it rest on your left shoulder. And there you want to get it more not right on your collarbone. So if you can, a little bit further down on your chest or eventually higher up. But off, so just in front. And to go, instead of bringing your hammer towards your body, lean into it, lean into the mace. So you kind of turn towards your left, towards your right, and draw your left shoulder forward a little bit, and then rest your mace there, okay? Now you already are going to start to shift your weight more towards your left side and bend your left leg a little bit more because the weight's more on your left side. Now as you move your hands up, you want to move you bend your arms almost so your arms are kind of like a 90-degree angle. So we call it the box, a box with your arms. So the weight's starting to move out by your side. And here's another key part where we want the weight to swing behind you, just behind you. So obviously it doesn't hit you, but it's not too far away and not too close, so it's going to hit your leg. So this is one spot where you can sort of start to find that, where you're sending it over your shoulder and to the side behind you. And then the weight swings behind you. So now you lift your arms up and your head moves through the pocket. And now the second most important part is to bend your arms and let your hands get to the back of your neck. Okay? So here, this is why we start with light weight. And even though you probably could muscle it away from your body, you want to start to practice the technique and bending your arms. Let your hands come to the back of your neck here. Okay? So instead of hands away, way overhead behind you, that's how you're going to hurt your shoulders. Bend your arms. And at this point, when you're actually performing the 360, the weight's going to be swinging and you're just going to be allowing the weight to swing on its own. Okay, but we're slowing this down to learn. So you want your hands behind to the back of your neck. Let your arms bend. And now I'd say the third most important part is your elbows both up and close into your head, like your elbows by your ears. Instead of your arms far away here, you keep your elbows in close by your head. Okay. Now when the weight is behind you here, we call this the critical spot, the critical zone. Okay. And another good practice eventually is to do that, what I was just doing, where you keep your feet planted, but you start to shift your hips from side to side and then let the weight swing. And there you can start to move your hands a little further away to allow that weight to swing further out and then pendulum back in. Okay, so that's another good way to start to feel the movement. And again, we're slowing down the first one. Okay, so feet planted, elbows up, and now the last part is now you're going to turn towards your left, the opposite side. So now the weight shifts more towards your right. And now your top hand, your dominant arm, elbow, is going to drive across your body towards your opposite hip. So in this case, right handy, right elbow drives across towards your left hip. So then we come up just in that direction, but then pause here because we're slowing down the first one. Kinetic swing. Back to our flute position on the other side. And this is where the box returns. So it's a practice of timing and contracting and catching and holding the muscle, engaging and relaxing and releasing and allowing it to swing and more relaxed through the muscle. So now at this point though, you would be re-engaging and catching. So you're back to the box with your arms, and now your hands draw all the way across, continuing in that direction towards your left pocket, towards your left hip. So we come down where you would catch the weight and come back forward. All right, so let's try another one. Just going a little bit quicker. So we lean into it, turn towards your right, weight to your left shoulder, up, and then out. You start to feel it get heavier. And here's when you would drop, bend your arms, hands to the back of your neck, hands to the back of your neck, elbows up. And now I didn't mention this before, but you want to be strong through your low body. All right, so squeeze the glutes here and keep your ribs closer towards your hips instead of letting the weight crack you back open. You want to draw your ribs down towards your hips. All practice over time with reps and consistency. And now your right elbow draws across. So we're turning towards your left. Right elbow draws across your body. And then hands reach back or reach forward. Your head goes back through the pocket. And your hands down towards your left hip as we come back to the order position. And now sort of strict order, like I said initially, forearms more parallel with the ground, but over time, the lower that you get your hands, the more kind of control you're gonna have with the weight in front of you. So the further down you get your hands, and the closer in the weight is towards your body, the more control you're gonna feel with the weight. Because you try the opposite, reach the weight further. This gets a lot harder on your core just for overall stability. It's gonna be a lot harder to hold that there. And when you come in here further down, and you can hold this more efficiently and less muscular effort there. Same thing with your hands. When you go further up, it gets a little harder. And especially when your hands move away and high up, that's going to be harder. So when you do the opposite to both of those, don't let it hit your face. You got to be thoughtful, awareness about what you're doing, especially with this kind of training and practice. Okay, so the kinetic swing is really slow, letting it kind of connect to your body for most of it. And then the practice, once we go around to the critical spot where your hands touch the back of your neck really close, like to the back of your shirt. Then this here, toes forward, feet stay planted, but starting to shift from side to side. And then eventually you can turn this one into finding the timing to pull it around. And then you drop your hands down. So I'll do that one again, facing here, but we go around. You're swinging from side to side, hip shifting, spine rotating, hands down towards your left, and catch on the other side. All right? And then the full swing is, so then the other thing to mention is your top hand, one just helpful cue, top hand, dominant hand, because eventually you're going to be doing both. You start with your dominant hand, then eventually do non-dom. But we start, point your top hand finger, and that's the direction that the weight is going to go for the 360 swing, regardless of which hand is on top. So if you switch the hands, then we're going other side, all the way around. Okay, so for the full swing, you go top hand, top arm, opposite shoulder, and you're lifting the weight and then trying to same direction like you're just practicing, over and around. And then you let the weight swing behind you. You get your hands to the back of your neck. You turn towards the mace to start, and then you're going opposite shoulder where you lift. You create the box. You can see the box as you go a little faster. And around. All right. So we'll leave it at that. But remember, keep your feet planted, toes forward. hands to the back of your neck, bend your arms, and relax more when you let the weight swing behind you. Hands to the back of your neck is maybe the most important part of all of them. And then third, arms, elbows close to your head, close to your ears, in that spot when the weight's behind you. And then last, draw that top arm, elbow across your body, because then you're using more of your core, more of your body, like your lats, and your spine, to bring the weight over. And it's not just in your arms and your shoulders. So there's a lot more going on here than just mobility and like good physical therapy for your shoulders, uh, which is why you want to practice light at first and really get the technique down until you kind of master it and get really good at it, and then slowly increase the weight. Get the reps in, practice both sides. I didn't really go over the other side much. You do everything on your dominant side first, and then do the same thing with the other side. You just switch everything up, left hand on top or vice versa. Start light, as I keep saying, but also with the reps. Maybe just do like 25 if you're feeling okay with them. Then try to just knock out some goal, 25, 50 on each, and then leave it at that. And then just keep getting after it. So hopefully that was helpful. And I'll see you next time. Peace.